explain it is it's very similar to the pushcart derby you have here in Jamaica. The same principles are involved, except there's just no snow or no ice. But the principle of two people in a sled or cart with wheels that go down a steep slope with curves and bends at very fast speeds. So if you can try to picture the pushcart, except in an area of ice, perhaps going twice as fast, because in bobsleighing, you reach speeds of 75, 90 miles an hour. And it's the first time Jamaica's gone to the Olympics, and based on their recent training, they've learned the sport very, very fast.
These mountains are much closer to civilization than you might think. They actually serve as the background for the modern city of Calgary. It started as an outpost for the Canadian Mounties. Today its population is 650,000. And today, Calgary enters a new chapter in its history. It becomes host to the athletes of the winter sports world. Well, hello, I'm Jim McKay, reporting live from McMahon Stadium in Calgary. And yes, it has been 4 years since Sarajevo. Yes, the moment is upon us for the opening of the 15th Olympic Winter Games. The first, by the way, ever held in Canada, somewhat surprisingly.
It's clean entry that time. We'll see how they get down before the first quarter. No, look at this. This is a Chinese fire drill to start right here.
It's a good thing.
Still not down.
He's not down. It's a good thing they don't have to go under a bridge, John.
Well, again, all he wants to do is make it to the bottom. As you can see, he's a lot cleaner with the four-man than he is with the two-man, but he's very leery about this big sled. Now, again, speed. We talked about speed. Anything above 74 miles an hour would be great for him.
When I talked to Dudley Stokes, and he was telling me that he was a helicopter pilot, I asked him if he had done map of the earth flying. That's when the helicopter gets low over the ground and just follows the contour of the land. He says he's done it, does it quite frequently, and he feels like it's helped him when it comes to bobsled training to see those turns and those moves before he gets to it.
Well, there he is again, late up that finish corner. Boy, that's bad for your rib cage, I can tell you that. But again, they're down the course twice, 2 for 2.
We'll take another look at the Jamaican start. Now, when you talk about it being a team sport, here is where all the teamwork comes into play.
Yeah, the Keystone Cops, the Chinese fire drill, whatever you want. Look at that last step. That's not a power step. Again, this is the inexperienced Lennon. It's like saying, get out of my seat. He's talking right there. Look, that is a big windfall to be going down at the start.
Dudley Stokes, you're the captain of this team. First of all, tell us how many people are in the team and where you're going to perform and that kind of thing.
We have 5 members on the team at present, which is 4 people who actually be sliding and an alternate. We'll be sliding in Calgary, which is in Alberta, Canada, in the 15th Olympic Winter Games, which begin on February 13th and run through to the 28th.
What is exciting about this? I mean, for some people, they might be like, what is all this about? I mean, this is not very exciting.
To discover the real excitement in bobsleighing, you'd have to actually do it. The next best thing is to stand by the track and actually watch the bobs go down. And the worst option is to watch it on TV, because somehow TV doesn't capture the speed and the violence of the sport. It's very fast and it's a very rough sport. And if you like that sort of thing, it's good for you. It's good for the adrenaline pump.
Both starts yesterday by the sled of Jamaica 1, driven by Dudley Stokes, were, to say the least, untidy. First time Stokes hardly got on board himself. And then the second time, the brakeman, Nelson Stokes, at the back, his younger brother, sat down so quickly that he didn't leave enough room for the third place man ahead of him to get his backside down. In fact, the crew were still trying to get themselves settled and sat as they went into the first bend. Let's see if they can do it a little better today. Well, just about. 5.32, 7th fastest. And they were in 25th place. Heads not really as neatly as aligned as on the more experienced crews. And he's getting 1 or 2 rather untidy high points on these bends. Much harder to drive these 4-man sleds. Total weight of half a ton. Oh, and he's get all over the place in the Kreisel. Oh, and he's on there, he's over! Oh, dear me! Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's a bad crash, I'm afraid. Well, willing hands are there quickly. And we'll have to hope that Dudley Stokes, Michael White, Devon Harris and Nelson Stokes are none the worse for that heart-stopping adventure, because he was really all over the place. Well, he was in trouble almost from the start, Dudley Stokes, this 25-year-old helicopter pilot. This is the really untidy entrance into the Kreisel. And you can see he's staying up on that wall far too long, and in the end it just drops off. There's nowhere to go. And that's a very nasty collision. Shower of sparks and ice. And that whole sled, half a ton, completely out of control. And what a satisfaction it is to be able to see that all 4 members of that Jamaican crew are now on their feet and able to walk down to the finish house. But that's the end of their Olympic adventure. They've brought sunshine and smiles and their own brand of reggae music. A disappointment for them, I'm sure, that they're not able to complete the event. But maybe they should just be thankful that they're able to walk away.
I guess you could describe it as a challenge. Sitting around in Jamaica, I went back down there for a friend's wedding, talking sports. And after getting through a discussion of the upcoming Seoul Summer Olympics and how well Jamaica was going to do, and of course they do well. On a per capita basis, Jamaica wins more medals in the Summer Olympics than anybody else. It was, Jamaica's never been to the Winter Olympics. So the challenge was if I could get them into the Winter Olympics, but be competitive. And then it was a matter of deciding the sport. Bobsledding was a sport, and because it best suits Jamaica's athletic skills, speed. Half the race is how quickly can you push this 600-pound object before you got to get in. That's speed. That's Jamaica. Hollywood doesn't really care about whether it tracks with real life. They're in the business of making some money. And they obviously decided a more popular movie will be if the idea comes from the Jamaicans. If they're the ones that go out and find a coach. If they're the ones that go out and raise the money. Yes, I was a sportsman, but I never made it to the Olympics. I mean, I played every sport growing up from badminton to rugby. And I never was disgraced. I always behaved myself when I played. So very much a stretch in the John Candy role. To do a piece on the Jamaican bobsled team.